Hi, welcome to the show. Sorry.
Had to do that.
All right, so first question, we're going to talk to each other about our pedagogy. All right, first question. What values and experiences informed your thinking about teaching before taking the early childhood pedagogy class? In essence, what made you want to be a teacher?
Well, there's not a specific place in my life where I can pinpoint this is a moment I found out I wanted to be a teacher. But growing up, I really loved school, enjoyed going to school, loved learning. And as I got older, I helped my friends too in school. I would tutor them and help them out. And like a lot of my friends would skip school and I'd be like, encourage them to come and stuff like that. I was kind of a little bit of a nerd. But when people would ask me what I wanted to be, I was thinking about like, what am I genuinely good at? And there's nothing that I could really pinpoint besides I'm good at getting good grades, and I'm good at tutoring my friends, and I'm good at like talking to people when they need advice, and I thought all those things.
It was kind of like a prelude.
Yeah, just like those qualities came together. I'm like, well, that's what makes a good teacher, in my mind, from what I see from my teachers, or people who care about other people and can help you succeed in school. And also care about you outside of school, like as a person in your personal life as well. I actually used to want to be a high school teacher.
Oh my god, me too.
Yeah,
I wanted to be. Yeah, I wanted to be history.
Yeah,
I love history because the best way to learn is from your mistakes.
Yeah, but I mean, I fell in love with the kids. Like we were talking about earlier, when I moved back home, and I was still studying to be a teacher, but it was for secondary education, and I was still just taking my like very beginning courses, and the kids in my neighborhood would come up and knock on my door and ask me to play, and I'd come out with them, and it just like grew into this huge group of kids where I was organizing all these things to do because I live on a park, and just organizing all these activities and started helping with them with their homework, and I just absolutely fell in love with the kids, and like immediately I was like, I have to change.
Yeah, I know for me, like I was once told at my old preschool that I used to work at that I was kind of like referred to like as I was referred to taking a job as like teaching. Like my co-teacher told me to like pursue being a teacher. I hadn't really understood why yet, and I had always heard the saying that like, oh, men are needed in like early childhood and stuff. I was like, yeah, I can kind of understand that. But then over more and more time, like I really understood that. And I don't know what it is. I think just because there's such a large quantity of women that like having a male in the classroom is very important. And I think I've realized that because at my placement, I don't know what I do. I don't know if it's just like this thing inside me that like I'm able to interact with children, because in my placement I see them once a week, and it's only been like 2 months, but like when I tell them bye, they're like, no, like don't go. And yeah, I don't know what it is, but I finally realized that like there is a need for a male to be in preschool, and I think it's just that whole I guess you could call it vibe.
Yeah.
That a male gives out that's different from a female.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like also like I know when I did my feet placement, I would drive away every day because it was the first time I had taught in a real classroom, and I would just have a huge smile on my face and blast like "Waiting on the World to Change" by John Mayer, and just I was so happy, and I was just like, like that's considered work, and I'm driving home with the biggest smile on my face.
I had that same feeling too, because like we're in like classes right now and stuff, and it's just boring, and I hear like the other girls in the classes talk about doing college mentors and stuff, and I wanted to do it, but there was no position left. Yeah. And I miss working with kids. Like I haven't like I taught in the preschool for 5 years, and now it's completely different because every day after classes I would be going to go work with kids after classes, and I miss it a lot, and I enjoy going to preschool placement. Like those 4 hours are amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Second question for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
When speaking about pedagogy, what are the key pedagogical concepts from this class that have impacted your personal teaching philosophy?
Well, I remember the first thing that really stood out for me in this class is about the way we view a child and how often we will look at a child and what they can't do more so than what they can do. And I think like on their journey of like life, I guess you could say, viewing them not as like incomplete or like stuck in a phase on the way to adulthood. Like viewing adulthood as complete is totally ridiculous because obviously,
Right.
and no human is complete ever. But you know, valuing them as like autonomous human beings in this world and valuing their thoughts and ideas and their mind like in present time and who they are then. And I think in order to do that, one thing I really love about this class, I know we just learned it recently, but like the culturally relevant pedagogy, because
And like the funds of knowledge.
and the funds of knowledge, yeah, because I've been in classrooms where the students can't relate to any of the content that's being taught at all, and they're completely disengaged. And I feel like it's so important to create that bridge between like home and school and have the students like genuinely interested and want to learn, to have an authentic learning experience, because when it's connected to who they are, it makes it meaningful, and that's really gonna like be instilled in like their learning experience and change.
It's like that movie, the Precious movie, you know, in Tucson, Arizona,
Yeah.
when like the Hispanic kids, they had like stuff taken away. Do you remember
Yeah.
watching the documentary? Yeah.
You know, and another thing I really like is I really like inquiry-based learning and discovery learning, because I feel like building off your students' like strengths and the knowledge that they already have and their interests is the only way you're going to keep them active in the classroom. Um, and I guess something I didn't think about before learning about inquiry-based learning is like it's okay to be flexible in the classroom and just take a lesson plan. If it's not working out, just like kind of toss it and, you know, adjust accordingly. And that's something I really want to learn how to do going forward.
Mm-hmm. I like what you said in the beginning about viewing the child not what they can't do, but what they can. I remember I had a student in the preschool, and she was always bossy and getting in trouble and stuff because she was always trying to boss kids around. And like that's like using that ideology of like well, she can't do this because she's like always getting in trouble. But I remember looking at that from another perspective because I heard that same saying, and I decided to make her like line leader of the class. I gave her leadership roles because like that's what she can do. You know, you take interest in what kids are like doing and how they are, and that revolves around like the whole image of the child. Before this class, I never really learned about the image of a child. I think the famous thing that like kids are like sponges and they soak up information. I think that was one of the greatest things I've learned because they really do soak up every little piece of knowledge to it. And along with how they soak up knowledge, going along with the whole socioculture play by Vygotsky, I've always loved just doing activities with kids and playing with kids. And to do that in a learning setting so that they are learning at the same time while playing, I think that's fantastic because that's just what kids want to do. Like in Finland or Sweden, they don't go to school until they're 7 years old because they see that kids need to be kids and play up until that age.
Yeah.
And then even in their classrooms, they still have like activities and like play in the classroom and stuff. So I think that's what's important is that you just need to remember that kids are kids, you know, they want to play, they want to learn.
There's so many benefits to play.
Yeah. And also what you said, like how like kids are like these autonomous people.
Yeah.
You know, that they're, even us, we're still learning.
Yeah.
Obviously we're in school and we're still learning. You know, everyone is still learning. And I think that's important to remember. There's a great quote from a philosophy book that I read by A.C. Grayling, is that um, a wise man admits that he doesn't know everything. And I think that's very important because there are some teachers who say they know everything,
Yes.
but that's not true because how can you know everything?
Yeah, I think it's important to show our students that we're learners too. We're
Exactly.
learning with them.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, I know I've done that too before in my classrooms. Like I was just learning about emerging curriculum, and so I was like decided to kind of try it out, and one of the kids was like, "Oh, let's learn about cavemen," and so I was like, "Okay." In my mind, I'm like, "I don't know anything about cavemen. I just know the word like Neanderthal."
Yeah.
And so the class and we learned together.
Yeah.
As a class.
And that's inquiry-based learning in its whole. I mean.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Sometimes you don't realize you're doing it.
With everything. From the questions that we've answered, what do you think is an effective, authentic classroom for teachers in early childhood?
Well, I think it goes back also to the culturally relevant pedagogy, and just that an authentic classroom is when children like find meaning in what they're learning and can relate things that mean something to them and they're personal to them to things that they're doing in the classroom.
Right.
And it's important to them what they're learning.
Right. I definitely view that as the same way because to make it effective, you have to make it authentic, you know? And what you said before about using funds of knowledge to bring in their home lives and connecting it with their school lives, I think that's the most effective thing because you're using their environment outside of the class, and that's how they'll be able to relate it.
Yeah, and they can take the things that they're learning in school and apply it in the real world, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like Vygotsky's authentic socioculture activities.
Exactly.
Yeah.